Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar which is broadcast every Thursday at 11 a.m. My name is Serhat and today's webinar topic is how is fire detection made in high ceiling areas. Today, here are the contents for our webinar. Introduction, mounting heights of detectors, detection principle of beam type smoke detectors, EN54 related standard clause, placement of beam type smoke detectors, and conclusion. Let's start. Special solutions are required for fire detection in places with high ceilings such as warehouses, basketball courts, mosques, cinemas, and theaters. Optical smoke detectors, which are frequently used in spaces, go into alarm when the particle density in the photoelectric cell reaches a certain level after the smoke caused by the fire reaches them. So in places with high ceilings, it will take time for the smoke to rise to a certain height. So it will be late for the optical smoke detectors to detect fire. As you can see from the table, according to EN54 version, optical smoke detectors can be used up to 12 meters. It can even be used up to 16 meters, depending on usage and environmental conditions. Similarly, air sampling detectors can be used, and heat detectors can be used up to 7.5 meters. However, the use of beam detectors is recommended for the healthiest detection above 7 to 8 meters. Detection principle of beam type smoke detectors. Normally, the beam sent from the transmitter reaches the receiver completely. In case of fire, the beam intensity sent from the transmitter reaches the receiver by decreasing. If this decrease is less than or equal to the alarm level set by the user for 6 to 8 seconds, the detector will go into alarm. The features and performance criteria of beam type smoke detectors are specified in the EN54-12 standards. Smoke detectors to be used in building must have EN54-12 CPR certificate issued by international accredited organizations. There are two variants of the beam type smoke detectors. Those are with transceiver unit and other one is unit reflector. Beam type smoke detectors with transceiver unit consist of two main elements, receiver and transmitter, as you can see in the picture. The receiver and transmitter are mounted opposite to each other. The distance between two units should be in the range of 5 to 100 meters. Normally, the IR rays from the transmitter fall on the receiver. However, the smoke formed in the event of fire prevents the exchange of rays. This is how the detector detects that there is a fire in the area. Another type of beam detectors is reflector detectors. Beam type smoke detectors with reflectors consist the transceiver unit and a reflector. The transceiver unit and the reflector are mounted opposite each other. If a single reflector is to be used, up to 35 meters. If 4 reflectors are to be used, a distance will go up to 50 meters. And this can be left between the transceiver units. Let's come to the related standards articles. In buildings with high ceilings, it is important that all fire protection precautions are coordinated and their interactions are properly controlled. The requirements of this guide should be taken as a starting point only. Additional detection may be required. In places with high ceilings, the fire load is usually such that there is no need to monitor the entire level. Beam detectors should be used. Note that the resulting risk is at levels higher than the temporary fire load can be considered a negligible risk. Beam detectors should be installed at a sufficient height. 9 meters to 12 meters is recommended for that height. The maximum horizontal distance between two detectors is 25% of the installation height when the detectors are not within the 10% zone. Additional angled beam detectors may be considered appropriate if the detectors are ceiling mounted and there are concerns about the effect of stratification. Here is the placement of beam type smoke detectors. The height is 9 meters to 12 meters and the horizontal distance between transmitter and receiver can go up to 100 meters. And the receiver and transmitter should be placed apart from the wall 6.2 meters. And the maximum horizontal distance between two detectors should be 25% of the installation height when detectors are not within the 10% zone. For example, if the floor to ceiling height is 20 meters and 10 meters high, the distance between beam detectors should be 2.5 meters. As a conclusion, according to the standard article, the most suitable solution in high ceiling places is beam type smoke detectors. Due to its particle structure, it casts rays at a certain percentage. When a solid object enters between the receiver and transmitter, the beam exchange is prevented by 90 to 100%. If a solid object enters between the receiver and transmitter momentarily, after a certain delay time between 6 to 8 seconds, if the interruption of the beam exchange continues, the detector should go into false state. If the detector goes into fire state due to a solid object, false alarm condition may occur. For this reason, this feature should be taken into account when choosing a beam type smoke detector. Thank you for your participation to our webinar. If you have questions about beam type smoke detectors or before week's webinars, you can feel free to ask me from chat box.